Okay. So, unang-una ma'am, gusto lang nating liwanagin kasi siyempre the term na hazing, ano ba kasi ang ibig sabihin ng hazing? So, when you talk about hazing, kasi we've been speaking about hazing for quite some time. Kaya lang, ano ba kasi kaya ang ibig niyang sabihin? So, when you talk about hazing, so it only means that you're going to impose yung strenuous or humiliating task, okay, or involving rigorous physical training and initiation. So, yun lang din ang nakita nating definition tungkol diyan, hazing. So, ngayon, so moving forward doon sa nakita natin sa Facebook, so merong na-post sa Facebook. So, syempre nakita yan ng Napolcom, and of course, we know for a fact na when you about the PNP, you're supposed to be kayong embodiment ng protection of our human rights. So yan yung kanilang trabaho dyan na to protect our human rights. So could you imagine that internally, okay, pagdating pa lang sa recruitment, meron ganitong issue. So ngayon, and we know for a fact na pagdating sa ating NAPOLCOM, hindi yan tinotolerate. So ngayon, alam nyo ma'am, minsan na ililink din di ba? Meron tayong news regarding uh, the lack of sufficient knowledge of the law ng ating mga kapulisan. So hindi po sa akin galing yan. Napanood ko rin yung interview kay Napolcom hindi ko alam, Napolcom spokesperson ba? Si Attorney Kalinisan. So nabanggit niya doon na when it comes to how the recruits of police officers, particularly the new ones, do not have a strong grasp of the law. Okay, so sabi ni Vice Chairman Kalinisan na ordinary police officers may not know the legal concept. So, alam nyo, as a teacher, di ba, siyempre tayo nagtuturi rin ng criminal laws. So, nakakalungkot isipin na merong ganitong komento, the fact na when it comes to legal knowledge, pukpok talaga dapat yung ating mga criminology graduates. Kasi ang dami nilang subjects including criminal procedure and court testimony. So parang nakakalungkot isipin na merong ganitong komento galing sa mismong Napolcom. Kaya kahit kami naman, on the part of our dito sa eskwelahan, so ngayon nagiging ano na rin ako nagiging ang tawag dito spoon feeding kumbaga pagdating sa mga estudyante. Ina-explain natin yan with the simplest way. So we do not practice yung tinatawag nating Socratic method of teaching na nagtatanong tayo sa mga estudyante, but rather we do the spoon feeding. Talagang kailangan nating ituro na maayos sa kanila yung tungkol sa mga batas, particularly on criminal procedure. So, ngayon, moving forward, and of course, yung mga criminal laws natin, including our revised penal code and special penal laws. So we really into that kind of tawag nito ito yung nakikita nating action that we're going to do in order to empower our graduates na dapat alam nila yung batas. Okay, so sabi ko nga lagi kong binabanggit na it will help you a lot in your work when you know what you're doing and what you're doing is in accordance with the law. So, yun yung ating advocacy na, nagiging advocacy na natin. Kasi imagine mo, when you talk about teaching law subjects, and siyempre, nasanay na Socratic method that you just ask your students what they have learned or what they have studied about what they're reading. But then, hindi, we have to go back with the basic. Kailangan nating magturo in a sense na parang spoon feeding. So na-connect ko lang kasi baka siguro dito sa itong issue ng hazing. So they I really do not know what is in their mind. Why is it that they are doing that? Yung sinabi nga natin na why is it really part of the training? Yung physical training, nasaktan mo yung mga tao na nagte-train. So maybe in the past, that has already been practiced, but you cannot do it anymore. Kasi nga ngayon, meron na tayong mga tawag nito, meron ng protection under the laws. And of course, even before, kaya lang kasi before we used to be, it might have been tolerated. Pero ngayon, siyempre, mayroon ng social media na-expose ng mga yan. So, ibig lang sabihin na naging more transparent tayo when it comes to trading. Kaya doon, malalaman na meron na palang mga ganitong activities pagdating pa lang sa training. So, ngayon, ang nakita ko dyan na problema is of course, yung mga nagte-train. Kasi they might have in mind na parang okay lang yung gagawin nila na pagawa yung isang bagay na it is very humiliating or strenuous na hindi naman siya talaga parte ng hindi siya talaga parte ng pagpapatraining, but rather it's already been a practice. So, but unfortunately, it was captured. So, of course, when we talk about Napolcom, talagang ano yan eh, yan yung protection din ng ating mga kapulisan pagdating sa pang-aabuso. So, hindi ko nakikita na parang negative on the part of Napolcom na maggawa ng ganitong action kasi nga basically when you talk about hazing, that is actually prohibited under the law. Diba? Meron nga tayong RA 8049, yon yung original law, and it was amended. So tingnan mo, inamend pa ng ating mga legislators, okay, through RA 11 110 53. So inamend niya yan, and of course para lang i-discourage yung any form of physical or psychological suffering on a recruit, particularly dito sa mga recruit sa PNP as a condition to become a member of PNP. So I really do not di ko nung nakita ko ano ba kasi yung relevance, okay, ng hurting someone else. Is it really part of the training na kailangan mong saktan para sila ay matuto? So, yun naman yung nakikita ko dyan. So, basically, when you talk about hazing, hindi yan that is not in accordance with the law. Violation yan ng batas. At meron siyang, and it is a criminal, it is a crime actually. Okay? So, pag pinag-usapan ng crime, of course, meron ng aspeto ng pagkakulong. Okay? So, pwede silang maparusahan ng reclusion perpetua depending upon the circumstances. So, or serious physical injuries and even light injuries. So, punishable din yan. Makikita mo nga, even when we do not have yet that anti-hazing law, nandyan na yan sa ating revised penal code kasi that would still constitute physical harm, diba? Injury or even it resulted to the death na nakapaloob sa ating revised penal code, particularly Article 263, 249, and 246, nandyan yan. Okay, so looking back dito sa ating siyempre dito naman ay yan yung general law. Sa PNP naman, meron silang internal policy, particularly anti-hazing policy. So nakapaloob yan sa kanilang memo circular. Kasi nga, ang Napolcom, talagang siya yung implementing body pagdating dyan sa mga issue ng administrative cases involving police officers. So, ang ating kapulisan, strictly zero tolerance on hazing yan. So, ngayon, napanood natin yung video na yon. Siyempre, maraming netizens ang nag-react na maybe it's too harsh a penalty that it might be removed from the service. So, tama ba yon na ginawa ng ating Napolcom? So, of course, yes. Kasi pag pinag-uusapan natin ang criminal case, so ano yan, threefold yan eh. Lalo na kung you are serving the government and you are a law enforcer. So definitely, kung merong syempre, yung kakaharapin nila dyan is violation of the special penal law na punitive ito, yung may parusang kulong Ito yung anti-hazing law. So, that is a mala in se. So, inherently evil. So, sino ba naman ang talagang walang lugar ang pananakit sa kapwa. So, ngayon, mananagot sila ng ating anti-hazing law, which is a criminal offense. So, haharap sila ng kasong criminal. So, ngayon, aside from the fact na haharap sila sa criminal case kasi nakapaloob sa ating Article 100 that every person criminally liable is civilly liable. Siyempre, may magbabayad din sila sa danyos. And at the same time, yung dagdag mo na dyan yung kanilang administrative liability. So, ngayon, siyempre, narinig natin sa balita na tinanggal sila sa serbisyo. So, meron bang grounds for them to be suspended or dismissed from the service for that matter? Eh, wala pa namang conviction on their case. The answer is yes. Kasi nga, when you talk about administrative cases, what is only required by the law is what we call substantial evidence. So, yun lang yung kailangan nating uh, evidence, hindi kailangan ng proof beyond reasonable doubt. So kung napapansin ninyo na kung ang isang law enforcer is facing a criminal case, it's either once the information has been filed in court, that would already be a ground for possible, unang-una dyan, although it's not absolute na automatic silang matanggal sa serbisyo kasi dadaan din sila sa administrative proceedings, but definitely they can be suspended from their service. So ngayon, moving forward, kasi when you talk about substantial evidence, hindi yan that is the proof required in administrative case. So it only means that it requires only relevant evidence that a reasonable man might accept as an adequate support to arrive a conclusion. So, the mere fact na meron nang na-file na information sa iyo sa court, that only means that would be suffice as a substantial evidence that might be a ground for your dismissal, suspension, okay, from the service. Kaya siguro, parang yung iba, lalo na sa training, they take it very lightly, yung mga ganong action. Akala nila it will still require yung ating conviction for the criminal offense for you to be removed from the service. Hindi. Sabi ko nga, dapat we should be very careful in the things that we do, especially if you are a person representing the state, which include the law enforcer. Dapat lagi tayong maingat sa ating ginagawa. So, kaya inuulit-ulit ko lagi yan when we discuss it in class. Lagi kong inuulit na when you will be, it would be very important for you to learn our laws, particularly kung ano ba yung ating responsibilidad sa ilalim ng batas. Kasi when it comes to your work, kasi you will be given the chance na magtrabaho. And pagpapasok kayo, dapat alam nyo yung karapatan ninyo kung ano bang hindi tama na gagawin ng inyong superior. And at the same time, when you will become a superior, ano ba yung hindi rin tama na gagawin ninyo doon sa mga junior officials ninyo. So, siguro, it's high time na tama naman yung comment. Ako this is just my personal, personal na pananaw sa issue na to. So, kaya siguro nagkakaroon ng ganito na mga violations coming from yung mga nasa serbisyo na. It's because it's already been a practice in the past and they are not aware that this might cost them criminal offense and at the same more importantly an administrative case that they might be removed from the service. So, paalala lang sa ating mga nasa serbisyo. So, if you have experienced it in the past, parang normal lang yung physical abuse. So, ngayon, na alam nyo na, so although they have done that with you in the past, hindi naman tama yon. pero do not duplicate it now. Okay? Kung mali yan, yung pananakit ay hindi tama, at ito ay pinagbabawal sa ilalim ng ating batas, particularly the anti-hazing law, wag na natin gawin to sa iba. Okay, so yun lang naman, yun eh. Kasi kaya pag-connect ko tuloy yung observation ng ating vice chairman ng NAPOLCOM na sinabi niya na they do not know important legal concepts. Parang napag-correct natin dyan na, okay. So, para naman sa amin na nagtuturo ng mga criminal laws natin, we still have to do double time in our teaching kasi nga nakakapanlobo na kayo na you are supposed to be the ones protecting the rights of the people, kayo pala sa inyong internally, kayo na yung gumagawa ng ganitong klaseng pang-aabuso.
Okay, attorney. So, attorney, kasalunukwa itipan naka penalize na digitoy involved ken siya sino digitay dapat makwapay ka dino ka digitay uray nagbuya lang uray adalang ka DJ nga premises nga nakapasamakan DJ alleged hazing attorney amin da liable da no kwa attorney.
Okay, so it does not actually merong classification yan ng mga persons who are involved. So meron tayong tinatawag na direct participants kasi yung sila yung direkta na naggumawa ng physical harm sa ating recruit. So they can be of course yung meron tayong mga direct participants yung gumawa noon. Meron naman yung mga tao na who organized or facilitate. Okay, although they did not personally inflict the harm, but they are still liable as principals or accomplices under our laws. Okay, kasi kung yan naman ay in-instruct sa kanila na gagawin yan, definitely they can still be liable kasi as organizers or facilitators. So, and of course, yun nga yung sinabi mo kanina ma'am, what about yung mga tao na nandun? So will they still be liable, yung mga witnesses that even who are there and even allowed that thing to happen? So can they still be liable? Can this be liable? Pwede rin. They can be considered accessories or even conspirators. Okay, so because you have that ability to stop them from doing it, but still you still allowed them to do it. Okay, so they can still be liable. So, of course, yung pananagutan nila sa ilalim ng batas, unang-una dyan would be, they can be criminally liable. Kasi nga, the anti-hazing law is mala in se. It is an inherently evil. Okay, so yung pananakit sa kapwa, hindi yan tama. So, that is a crime. So, pwede kayong makulong. So, aside from that, of course, yun nga, sinabi natin, Article 100 of the Revised Penal Code, every person criminally liable is civilly liable. So, dahil nga sila ay law enforcer, so, of course, sa dagdag mo pa dyan, okay, threefold yan, would include yung kanilang administrative liability. So, pwedeng ground yan ng kanilang suspension, dismissal from the service, and of course, include yung kanilang forfeiture of their benefits or even disqualification to enter government service. Kaya lagi kong nire-remind dyan with my students na dapat mahalin mo yung trabaho mo. Wag hamakin yung binigay na oportunidad sa iyo na magserbisyo sa gobyerno bilang isang pulis. And of course, syempre hindi naman lang kailangan na yung dedication natin it does not only entail our character but also includes our legal knowledge. Kaya sabi ko dapat you have to empower yourself na kung nandito kayo sa eskwelahan na kailangan yung matuturan yung batas, dapat matuto kayo. So tingnan nyo yan, akala nila siguro very light lang kasi it's part of the process, part of the training na meron kang mga activities that you're going to let your recruits do. Kaya lang siguro nakita mo naman na nasobrahan naman yon. So, syempre inflicting harm with others. So, kung yung isang individual doon naramdaman niya na merong hindi na yon part ng kanilang training and it's already a part nung it will already constitute abuse at kakasuhan kayo, ayan, yung kakaharapin mo. So, nakakalungkot isipin na akala mo siguro ganun lang na pinagawa mo lang ng tawag dito, yung strenuous or humiliating activity, ganun na kalala yung parusang kakaharapin mo. So, hopefully, this would serve as a lesson not only to our law enforcers but to other government officials na kung mga ganito na form of humiliating others, lalo na yan sa mga training, so it would constitute hazing. So, hindi lang yan simpleng issue but it would constitute a crime na to that extent that that can be a ground from your removal from the service.
Okay, attorney. Attorney, adda ka dili kita mahun ko ng exceptions and exclusions ta nukwa iti detoy nga lintek tayo diti pagilya kasi adda mo digiti no Jack Mariro adda digitay kaslang training laeng nga talagang maparigat da digiti nang ron lagiti ag training nga ag sumrek iti kina pulis or iti biyang iti military attorney.
Okay, so syempre meron naman ma'am, hindi naman it would automatically translate na when there are kasi meron namang reasonable training. Okay, meron tayong tinatawag na reasonable training na talaga namang required by the organization for them to develop that discipline or that is part of their skill development. Okay, but of course, they have to be reminded that that should not involve physical or any form of psychological abuse or any infliction of unnecessary harm. So like for example, di ba? Syempre kasi nandun nga sila sa training para they will develop these skills, yung sinabi nga natin na discipline. So, of course, yung legitimate purpose, yung kanilang ginagawa na physical activity will, of course, teach them teamwork, yung discipline, and of course, physical conditioning for that particular role or orientation to their duties and responsibilities. Kaya lang, okay, kung that would cause, halimbawa, yung pagkabali na ng kanilang buto. Okay, so yan na yung dahilan na sila ay yung merong pamamahiya sa mga recruit. Okay, yung halimbawa meron ng form of harmful substances that you're going to consume. Okay, or possible excessive isolation or confinement. So, like for example, papainumin ka ng alcohol na bakit ko yung mga alcoholic beverages parte ba yan ng trabaho ng pagiging pulis, di ba? Example ko lang yon. So is it part of the training? So the answer is no. So although shall we say na parang nakaugalian na pag mga lalaki o mga trainees ay di ba part ng ating pakikisama, iinom din tayo, but then is it really part of the training? Okay, to become police officer, paano kung hindi ka umiinom? So, that is just a simple example of possible abuse when it comes to yung definition mo ng yung ating, is there a legitimate purpose for letting the recruits do that? Okay, so is it part of the discipline? Meron bang skill development that they will derived from requiring the recruits or trainees to drink alcoholic beverages. Di ba parang ganon?
Okay,
Kasi yung
attorney.
binabanggit mo siguro ma'am, it's just the standard training drills. So
Mm-mm.
hindi naman that are actually allowed. Okay na sa
Mm.
if we are not in particular kasi hindi naman tayo kasali ng sa PNP, but then again these are actually sa PNP meron silang mga policy siguro diyan or circulars pertaining to that, that acts would constitute standard training drills kasi part yan ng kanilang physical conditioning. Okay, so but then again, that is not intended to humiliate or harm those recruits. Okay, so otherwise, kung yan ay does not constitute standard training drills, those people na involved, gaya niyan doon sa binalita, they can be held administratively liable aside from they might be facing
Mm.
criminal case.
Okay, attorney. Okay, attorney, tireto yung gundaway ti anchorman tayo ni Bombo Roger Lopez. Bombo Roger, na dati follow-up question mo kani attorney.
Okay, maraming salamat, Bombo Janice, kani Bangarabi, Apo, Attorney Kid Castro. Attorney, kas ko natin mo na gundaway, kas criminal law professor, iti Northwestern University, biyang ti criminology student. So, kaditi mas masamak nga hazing, or iti alleged hazing ko na tayo, agsibot na kamping napanagdikag, agsibot na ongoing investigation ti National Police Commission ti BARM. Based kaditi video, nga ni Palawan Station ng Bumradyon or itibiyang tinagwar sa social media, mayan natop, di kastoy nga pa ng training, kadigit at kapulisan, attorney, nga aglamlam iti patong da, kada saksaka da, kada masipat, tirupa da, attorney?
Yes, so data ti anatay sir. Ti definition na dito the act that were done there based on the videos, would that constitute as standard training drills?
Mm-hmm.
Ng kanilang physical conditioning. So, kung isang tao ay papaluin mo, di ba? So, di ba papaluin mo? So, would that paano we explain na that would constitute physical conditioning? Okay, so sa medical field ba, pag pinalo mo ba yung isang individual, na 'di ba yung like for example, there is now what we call infliction of harm, meron bang medical ano yan, medical connection ba yan na kung pinalo mo yan ay lalong titigas ang kanyang buto? So part ba yan ng physical conditioning? So yun yung katanungan doon. So if they cannot explain it, then definitely that would constitute punishment that would even cause humiliation or harm to the recruit. So if that can cause humiliation or harm to the recruit, that would not of course constitute standard training drill. So that would constitute violation, and that is already physical harm. There is already injury that can be considered a violation of the anti-hazing law. Okay, so
Okay,
yun
so
naman.
nalawag,
So
kumbaga.
nasa kanila na yon to look into it kung ano ba yung ginawa na yon. Part ba yan talaga ng standard training drill na para kung parang titigas yung isang recruit ay kailangan mong paluin ng mga 2x2. So, ngayon, i-relate natin. Tayo lang, personal view na natin to. Sa medical field ba, meron bang connection na kung yung isang trainee ay, or tayo, ordinaryong individual, kung yung isang tao ay papaluin mo ng 2x2, laglang titigas ang kanyang mga buto. So, kayo, tanungin na lang natin yung mga netizen, titigas bang yung mga buto pag kayo ay pinapalo ng ganong kalaking halimbawa kahoy yan, papaluin ka, titigas ba yung buto? Or that already a form of, or that would cause you injury and that would constitute physical harm. Kasi kung yan would constitute physical harm and it's already an injury, so that definitely considered violation of the anti-hazing law.
Mm.
Kaya,
Yan ko na naman,
kaya
attorney.
yun din naman eh. Okay, so kayo nang mag-judge dyan. But definitely, on my part, I look at it that is already an injury or a physical harm. Kasi sa tingin ko naman, sino ba namang mas matutuwa na ikaw ay papaluin ng ganong ng, di ba, dos por dos. Anong matutunan ko doon? Okay, is it part of physical conditioning? Nasaktan na, i-hospital ka pa dahil doon sa pagpalo ng ganong mga di ba? So pwede namang idisiplinahin kasi mismong sinapolcom na nagkaroon na sila ng definition tungkol sa physical conditioning. Okay, so siguro siyempre hindi naman magkakaso ang Napolcom without any legal basis. So hindi naman magkakaso yan ng walang basehan. So sa tingin nila, that's what I see it. Nagkaso sila kasi hindi yan part ng kanilang physical conditioning. Hindi yan part ng standard training drills para sa mga recruit. What was done is already harmful, causing injury, which would constitute violation of the anti-hazing law.
Okay. But iti mo ng gundang attorney, dadigitin naka sarsaritak nga dati nga pulis, kinaktive nga pulis, kanti ko na dan nga narigrigat pa iti na padasami, idi agtakam ti ag-training takarkaro. But teko natin attorney, kadita ta, dahil ti law, nga especially kaditi anti-hazing law, nga mang salwad kadita nga hazing, ti panag-training, ti ko namon, nga na subrao na yan, makaperdi mo ti salon atin, or ma-disgrasya kami ten, it's a violation din. Pasok ka diti lintig ti kaditatan, attorney.
Kastoy Seraya. It's DJ nga tikonak nga it has already been a practice in the past. Na it was transferred from generation to generation. So it's already been part of the tradition. Ngayon, the people now are becoming aware of their rights. Ngayon, meron na rin tayong nakikita na mga videos, meron ng social media, may camera na. So, ngayon, syempre, nakikita na ng tao. So, naging aware tayo yung mga ginagawa. So, maybe in the past, it was just been tolerated. Yun ang right term. Na-tolerate lang kasi sa nakaraan, pinapayagan lang kasi it's already been part of the practice. But then, that practice is not legal. Kasi nga, ang question doon, eto syempre, yung sinabi nilang mas mahirap noon, so maybe, kung halimbawa, pinag-push up ka ng 100 times, yung push up mo, so of course, that is part of their discipline. But then again, eto kasing nakita sa video, pinalo ka na Pinalo siya ng malaking tubo. So, where will you fit in that activity to constitute standard training drills? Standard ba yan? Okay. Na kung yung isang, di ba, kung paparusahan mo, di ba, meron namang mga allowed exercise para to punish a particular recruit. Bakit ina-allow ba yan? Okay. So, ina-allow ba na paluin mo siya ng 2x2 or whatever any heavy object to discipline that person? Wala naman, I know, wala yan sa manual ng PNP. Wala yan. So, it so happened that in the past, hindi yan na-expose kasi it's already been part of the tradition. So, it was passed on from generation to generation. Ngayon kasi, malas lang, kasi meron na tayong mga videos, meron ng camera na nagka-capture doon sa mga activity na yun. And ngayon, siyempre, aware na yung mga tao, ganun pala yung ginagawa. So, pinapalo yan. Is it under the law? Ayun na. Ngayon, at least naliwanagan na that does not constitute a standard drill. Okay, sa recruitment. Okay, lalo na sa training, hindi yan part of the procedure. So, ngayon, hopefully in the future it will enlighten as well yung mga yung mga trainers
Mhm.
natin na this is not standard.
Mhm.
Kasi otherwise, you might be criminally liable under the anti-hazing law.
Mhm.
Kasi yun nga yung sinasabi natin noon kasi hindi aware yung mga tao, tinatanggap na lang nila yung ganong mga nangyayari.
Mhm.
So it was passed it on from generation to generation. Noon wala namang camera nagka-capture doon sa mga ginagawa.
Mhm.
So mahirap patunayan 'yan pagdating na sa korte. Ngayon meron ng mga CCTV. Na-capture niya 'yon. So but of course noon at ngayon bawal 'yon. Okay, ngayon it so happened that in this generation nakaka-capture na kasi yan ng camera, nakaka-capture na ng CCTV. Kaya napapanagot na yung mga kailangang mapanagot.
Mhm.
Okay. So yun lang yung difference. So hindi po pwedeng gaya ng sa school din, di ba? Before, di ba, sabi nga nila mas lalo daw natututo ang mga bata dahil nga pinapayagan yung teacher na maging stricto sa eskwelahan. Pero you can be strict but not in a way to harm the student. Okay, you can be strict in your discipline but not to inflict harm to the student. So could you imagine na pwede naman siguro at the part of the parents, merong mga pwede rin pagalitan yung mga anak. Kaya lang kasi before masyado namang naabuso. Okay, naabuso. Pero but then again, hindi man naman nagbago ang batas eh. Noon, that would is already constitute physical harm before. Kaya lang kasi yun nga, hindi naman it was passed on from generation to generation. Only now that we are now exposed to social media, we know, nalaman natin na yung mga ginagawa pala noon would already constitute a violation. Kaya nagkaroon tayo ng awareness. So, ngayon, ang tanong dyan is, doon meron na bang violation? Meron na. Kaya lang kasi hindi tayo aware na meron silang pananagutan sa batas. Ngayon kasi we are exposed to social media. Alam na natin ang definition ng physical harm gaya ng pagpapalo sa mga bata. So, ngayon lang sila nananagot. Okay. So, and of course, I still believe na mas mainam pa rin ang positive reinforcement. Okay, so proper knowledge, yung pagtuturo or any other form of discipline to children na hindi naman kailangan ng physical harm. Kasi siguro tawag nito, hindi naman sa maarte yung mga generation ngayon, kaya lang na lalo daw tumigas yung mga hindi naman. I still believe doon sa tinatawag nating positive reinforcement or yung pagtuturo din sa mga bata. And the same is true with the recruits. Okay, hindi naman yan lang siguro, ako I still believe na kailangan lang siguro ng yung knowledge din na when they are going yung lang sa implementation, kung talagang yung bata ay hindi siya talaga deserving to be able to pass kasi nga maloko yan or sa hindi naman kailangan physical harm mo na bagsak mo na lang siguro.
Okay,
Hindi mo na siya patutuluyan sa sa recruitment, for example, kung talagang pasaway yan, nasa implementation yan if the child is disobeying doon sa mga sa eskwelahan or sa recruit, they are violating the regulations of the yung sa recruit kung yan ay kailangang parusahan through eviction or removal from the training, kung yun ang parusa niya, then so be it. Kaya hindi naman kailangan na you still have to enforce yung, di ba, napapaluin mo yan to death. Okay, so yun lang naman, yun lang ang aking nakikita na recommendation pagdating dyan. But then again, talagang walang lugar. So sad to say, walang lugar yung any form of physical or psychological harm.
Okay. Attorney, Dumapagkait ko sa lutso ng turning, mamitan na oras anyway, danto pa iti sa sumarsaro ng aldaw. Ngayon dito pagsalitan, may naik to pala digitiya, may wayat ng operasyon, especially tantay legal drug operation. Anyway, maraming salamat, attorney. Kadit oras manen nga nakainumanda ka di stasyon ti Bombo Radio. Bombo Janice, back to you.
Yes, so thank you so much, attorney. Iti dati pa nang ipahay mo, iti oras kada kami ken kastamet nga pa nang lawlawag, iti dati anti-hazing law, diti paginiantay nga Pilipinas.